Okay, so today we are going to look at another parser known as shift reduce parser. Okay, so actually shift reduce parser is a bottom up parser. So you must have come across this parser in compiler design. It's the same methodology. In shift reduce parser, what you do is you start from the input and then you keep applying the different productions in reverse, and finally you arrive at the start symbol. In case if you arrive at the start symbol, then your input has been accepted as correct. Okay, so that is a bottom up parser. And here two operations are involved: shift and reduce. So shift means actually in shift reduce parsing, in order to implement shift reduce parsing, we actually use an input stack as well as we have the input symbols also. Okay, so those are the two data structures we're using. There is an input stack, and on the input stack we initially have the start symbol, and then whether we how we proceed, we might shift input symbols onto the stack, or we might go for a reduction, etc. So which action you do depends on what is known as a parsing table. Okay, given a particular grammar, first of all, we will look at how we construct the parsing table, and then we look at an example of how the actual parsing is done. Okay, so for this particular grammar, just take the pointer. Okay, so for this particular grammar, how will we arrive at the parsing table? Okay, so these are the productions involved. So always we start from the start symbol or the production containing the start symbol. Okay, now, so how do we determine all parse states and the transitions from the parse states? So basically we are going to build a transition diagram, or maybe a finite state automata. Okay, so initial state of the parser, which we can call is S naught, it will contain the production, this production, right? That is, you always start with the start symbol. So this is the production which we start with. And this dot actually, what it shows is we have not looked at whatever is on the right. That input has not been considered. We are going to look at that input. And I think it's called an LR0 item in compiler. You might have come across that term. Okay. And then you look at all the closure of this particular production, which is those productions which have this particular symbol on the right hand side. So from the grammar which we have, we can have NP gives an article followed by a noun. Again, we have not examined the input, so that is why we have got this symbol here. So this is our initial state, which we call S0. Okay, so we have arrived at the first state. This is S0. Now, suppose we take article as an input. So what is a transition to? So what is a transition? That is what we are going to look at next. So if we are eating up this article as the input, then this dot can actually, that is, we have processed the article, so this can go here, right? So that is what we have as state S1. So state S1 is you have the noun phrase gives, article followed by noun, and article has been processed. And now when we take the closure, since this is actually a lexical item, we do not have any further productions to add. So this is our state S1. Okay, and this transition takes place when you have from state S0, when you come across an article, then you go to state S1. Now from S1, when you have an input as a noun, then you go to state S1 dash. You can say this is the next state, S1 dash. Okay, so this is a transition on the input symbol is a noun. Now in this state, if you look at it, this particular right hand side has already been processed, which means you can actually replace this with a noun phrase. Okay, so in the input, if you look at it, the article and noun has been, or the noun phrase has been processed. So when you process the noun phrase, so once you have processed the noun phrase, so from here, from start symbol, if you have processed the noun phrase, where do you go? That is the next state. So here, in this case, only reduction can be done. So we stop it there. Now, what is the next state when you are consuming a noun phrase? So this production will be replaced as noun phrase dot noun phrase has been processed followed by verb phrase. So on noun phrase we have this transition, and then you have a closure applied on this production. So if you look at the productions, we have VP on the left hand side. You have got two productions which we can add to this particular state. Okay, VP gives whatever, right? Okay, that is state S2 here. If you look at it, state S2 has this production, that is, it has consumed noun phrase, and then when you take a closure, you have these two productions added. Okay, now in this from state S2 on a transition of, let us say, if you are taking a transition on a verb, okay, if you take verb as the input, look, the production is replaced as the verb phrase becomes verb followed by noun phrase, and verb has already been processed, and then you take a closure on it. Okay, so then you will have this and so on. So this way you have to construct the whole finite state automata corresponding to the different transitions. And it is these, okay, we look at the picture here. So here we have the different states and their transitions given as a whole picture. I don't think this is a complete picture, but this is what it really looks like. And each of these states contains a set of items, okay, or productions in various states of being processed. And now the state transition diagram can actually be represented as a table, a parsing table, which we will come to. But before that, when we look at a shift reduce parser, actually it has two data structures involved. One is the parse stack, which contains nodes and grammar symbols, and the other is the input stack. Okay, and the operations involved are shift and reduce. And what is shift? If the input symbol matches an arc, that is at a particular state, the input symbol matches an arc, then the input symbol and the state at the end of the transition are pushed onto the stack. So initially, let us say we have got a stack like this. So initially we start at S0, okay, and then initially we start at S0. This is our state S0, and we know on input article we transition to S1. So when we process this, what happens is the shift operation means if the input symbol is an article, then you have to push the article along with the state to which it transitions, which was S1, right? Okay, S1. Okay, S1 onto the stack. Okay, this is how you process. So this is a shift operation. You are shifting the input as well as the state. Now, in the case of a reduce operation, say in a state like this, if you look at this as an example, that is the right hand side has actually been processed. So you can replace it with the left hand side. So you can pop out whatever the right hand side is there on the stack and replace it with the left hand side as the noun phrase. Okay, so these are the operations involved. Now again, we said we have built this particular state transition diagram, and from the state transition diagram, it can actually be represented using this table. This is called a parsing table. So again, we start with state 0, and when we come across an article, we said we are transitioning to S1, and we are shifting. Look, we have got this is our input stack, okay, or parse stack, and there is another data structure where the whole input is actually stored. So let us say the cat ate the rat or something like that. So when you come across this, when you come across the, okay, and there is actually an article, and at state S0, if you come across an article, what is a transition? In S0, if you come across an article, what you have to do is you have to shift the input onto the parse stack and then transition to S1. Okay, that is, you have to shift the input, which is article, and this actually says that you have transitioned to S1. Shift operation, what you do is നമ്മളുടെ ഇൻപുട്ടിനെ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. This was an article, it is shifted. Along with that, the transition ചെയ്യുന്ന state S1 ആണ്. അതും കൂടെ നമ്മൾ പുഷ് ചെയ്ത് സ്റ്റാക്കിൽ വെക്കുന്നു. Okay, so that is what shift operation is. Similarly, S0, if you come across a noun phrase, you shift the noun phrase onto the stack as well as transition to S2 and so on. And if it is S1 dash, the state in which you are in, then you can reduce by rule number 2.2. So rule number 2.2 according to the grammar is this. So can we actually pop out article and noun on top of the stack and replace it with noun phrase and so on. So basically this table is what drives the parsing. Okay. Now we look at an example. Okay. Look, our parse stack, we are starting with S0. That is where we started, right? Now our input contains the man ate the carrot. Okay, so first of all, the first input we come across is the, which is an article. Okay, so if you come across an article in state S0, what is the action to be taken is given in the parsing table. So S0 is the state, article is being processed. So shift the input onto the stack and go to S1. Okay, so we will draw the stack here. Okay, this is the bottom and we will grow in this direction. Okay, so initially we put S0 here. Okay, now S0 and article input means you have a shift operation. So you push article onto the stack followed by what was the state S1. You are shifting to S1. Okay, okay, that much is done. So the has been processed. Okay, it is given here. So S1, S0 is at the bottom, article is pushed and S1 is there. Now the remaining input is this. Now you come across man. Man is actually a noun. So you are in state S1. Now in state S1, if you come across a noun, what do? You have to shift the noun and move to S1 dash. So we have move the noun onto the stack and you have to give the status S1 dash. Okay, so we have finished with man also. Now what do? In S1 dash, we come across a verb called ate. Okay, we are in S1 dash. Okay, in S1 dash, without taking any input, you have to apply the reduce by rule 2.2. Okay, reduce by rule 2.2 means you have to replace article and noun on top of the stack by a noun phrase. Okay, so for that, what we have to do is the article and noun have to be popped from the stack. So the article along with their states, article and noun are popped, and then you have to replace with noun phrase, right? And what is the next? Okay, you are replacing it with noun phrase here. Now noun phrase and you are in S naught. So what is the which state will you be in? Okay, so you are in S naught and you have come across a noun phrase. So shift the noun phrase which you have already done and move to S2. Okay, so here now we'll have S2. Okay, so we have we are at S2. Now next input is this verb. So S2 and verb, what happens? S2 and verb, you have to shift the input onto stack and move to S3. So the verb has to be pushed onto the stack and you move to S3. Now S3 and again an article. So what happens? S3 and article means you have to shift article and move to S1. Shift article and move to S1. Now S1 and now the last input is a noun, right? So S1 and noun, shift and you move to S1 dash. Shift what? Shift the noun and move to S1 dash. So this is a stack state. Okay, S1 dash. Now S1 dash and you have S1 dash, you have again to go for a reduction by 2.2. Look, you have to apply this, right? So 2.2 means right hand side you have got article and noun which have to be popped. So this is popped, article as well as noun are popped and you are replacing it with the noun phrase. Okay, noun phrase and S3 is the state you are in, right? So S3 and noun phrase means you have to shift noun phrase and move to S3 dash. Okay, now you will put S3 dash here. Okay, Now, what about S3 dash? S3 dash, we have got a reduction rule by 2.4. So, in the right hand side, we have a verb followed by noun phrase. Okay, we have a word followed by noun phrase on top, right? So, you can verb followed by noun phrase can be popped and you will replace it with verb phrase. Okay, you have a verb phrase now on top, and the top, the state is S2. S2 and verb phrase, what do you have? S2 and verb phrase, shift verb phrase, and you go to S2 dash again. So you have got S2 dash here. Okay, now S2 dash, what happens? Now S2 dash again, you have to apply a reduction, reduce by 2.1. Oh, good. Okay, at 2.1, we have noun phrase and verb phrase on the right hand side which have to be popped. Okay, so this verb phrase as well as this noun phrase are popped and you are replacing it with, okay, the start symbol here. Okay, so now you have S naught and start symbol in the stack. Now S naught, in S naught, if you have a start symbol, you have to shift the start symbol onto the stack and go to S naught dash. So you will have S naught dash here. Okay, now in S naught dash, what happens? S naught dash, okay, if there is no more input symbol, then you declare success. So we have correctly parsed. So this is the process we go through. Okay, so here again, all the states are given. How you reach the states, that is what is given here. Okay. Okay, so we have seen how shift reduce parser uses the parsing table in order to parse a particular input. Now, shift reduce parsers actually are better than top-down parsers in that it can handle some level of ambiguity. Okay, say for example, if you consider two productions like this, and we are parsing our input, and we come across these two inputs. That is, in the case of a top-down parser, when we come across a noun phrase, we want to replace it by the right-hand side. That is how it works. But when you come across two productions which have the same left hand side, the top-down parser has to decide among one of the paths. Right, it has to choose one of the paths and then it will replace, and if there is an error, you can backtrack and come here. That is a method which is used in top-down parsers. But in the case of shift reduce parser, what it can do is, say if you look at this particular state, if the shift reduce parser is in this state, let us say. So here you have got two productions which have the same left hand side, and the input is also, it is expecting is an article in both cases. But what happens is it can the shift reduce parser can read the article input and can actually parallelly process both of these productions to form, to go to this particular state. Okay, and after noun, and it is only after noun has been processed, and depending on what input comes there, that the shift reduce parser can choose between any of these. Okay, that is one advantage. So one level of ambiguity is being handled here by the shift reduce parser. Now another level of ambiguity is sometimes we have already seen some lexical level ambiguity. That is when we come across, say, a word, for example, can. Okay, can, in earlier examples we have seen that it can be an auxiliary verb, that is I can do something, or it can be a verb itself, right? You have to can the fish, something like that. It can be a verb. So in such cases, again, such ambiguities can also be handled by a shift reduce parser. Say for example, let us say our shift reduce parser is in this state. Okay, and we have the input we have come across is can. Okay, now according to this state transition diagram, if it is an auxiliary verb, it will go here, or if it is a verb, it will go here. But what we can do is we can combine these two states. That level of ambiguity can be maintained, and we can actually combine the states BP3 and BP2 to form a state like this, which contains both set of productions. That is, even if it is an auxiliary verb or if it is a normal verb, can be either of these, right? So still it will remain in the same state, and when we process the input, when we read the next input symbol, After can, there might be a verb or a noun phrase. So depending on that, we can have the ambiguity resolved there. So that lexical ambiguity. But in the case of a top-down parser, if you were to look at it, then we will have to choose either of them, and we have to parse. Maybe we will think it is an auxiliary verb, and you have to go through that particular path in the tree, and then maybe if it is not, then you will have to come back. So some level of ambiguity is taken care of by the shift reduce parser. Okay, but not all levels of ambiguity, which we are going to see. Some ambiguities cannot be handled by the shift reduce parser. Say for example, okay, so all ambiguities cannot be handled by a shift reduce parser. So if we look at this particular grammar, and it has two productions for a noun phrase, and now if you're coming across an article, uh, then it moves to this particular state. And from the article, now suppose you come across a noun, you move on to state NP5. Here, if you look at this, so an article and noun has been processed, right? So in this stage, actually you can, the shift reduce parser can go for a reduction from article noun to NP, or it can, that is if it come across a preposition, then it can actually the process the preposition, that is either it can consider this production for a reduction, or it can consider this production to actually move forward in the input. So here we have an ambiguity for the shift reduce parser, what it has to do. That is not clear in this case. Okay, so this sort of problem is a shift reduce conflict. That is, the parser is not able to know whether to shift or to reduce. Okay. Similarly, another problem is reduce conflict. Okay, reduce conflict is, say, let us say our parser is in this particular state after reading. Okay, after moving through various states, it reaches this state. Okay, so in this state, it could either reduce based on this particular production, or it could reduce based on this particular production. Okay, so which one is not clear? Okay, so such sorts of ambiguities can happen, and we will look at various options about handling such conflicts in the next class. Okay.